Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Eureeca Conversations, where we speak to visionary entrepreneurs shaping tomorrow's industry. I'm Aslam from Eureeca, the digital investment platform where private deals and IPOs meet a global investor base. Today, we are speaking with the founder of NeuXP, a company transforming the way SMEs digitize and scale globally. Based in Malaysia, NeuXP is not just building tools, it's shaping how the SME sectors prepare for tomorrow's economy. Welcome to the show, Jeremy.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Aslam, for having me here today.
Perfect. Let's start from the top. Let's start with the core missions. In a sentence, what is New XP really solving for SMEs, and why does that matter today more than ever?
Yeah, so basically, at NeuXP, we simplify cross-border market entry and digital transformation, especially for the underserved SMEs. Because in today's environment, navigating into new regions or market, it's definitely a very challenging task for the SMEs. So in today's, of course, hyper-connected and fragmented world, giving SMEs access to the necessary tools and also the partnership that they need. In order to compete globally, is not just relevant, but is critical, especially for economic inclusion.
That's very true. And out of this, what was did happen? Like, what triggered you to create New XP? Was there a personal experience that or a market gap that inspired you to start this journey?
Yeah, the idea actually stemmed, from first-hand frustration. Not just myself, but I believe many of the other entrepreneurs would experience it as well. So, building a startup, especially in Southeast Asia or Malaysia in particular, in this case, how we actually struggle to build our business, even, at our home base. So, of course, New XP was built in order to bridge that gap. Coming here together as a trusted ecosystem, partnering with the SMEs in two things, which is going digital and going global.
That's interesting. But in a market flooded with digital platforms, what makes New XP's solution fundamentally different, and more importantly, sustainable over time?
Yes, I agree. And there are several, platforms or tools out there. So, of course, unlike most of the platforms, that focus either on, in the fintech industry or either as a marketplace or SaaS system. So basically, what we do at NewXP, we integrate all three or even more through a localized ecosystem. So what we actually offer here to the SMEs is basically a bundled solution, not just financial access, but also market access and also digital tools. So in terms of sustainability, it actually lies on our network model. The more partners we integrate, the more value we unlock, for users or partners within our ecosystem. And that is something that is definitely not easily replicable, in today's market.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's talk about more about the Malaysian market and the opportunity. A lot of our users are not familiar with the Malaysian market. What is the current state of SME digitization in the region, and where does the biggest opportunity lie?
Yeah, Malaysia is definitely a country that is progressing. So, like most of the other developing nations, we cannot deny the fact that digitization is definitely the agenda in most of the developing
Yeah.
countries. And of course, urban SMEs, they are tech curious, but the most often issue that we see is the lack of the know-how. And
Yeah.
on the other hand, we are looking at the rural businesses as well. Or the SMEs in the rural areas. So they remain, like the underserved segment. So what is the biggest opportunity here is basically lies in bridging the last mile. So what it means is that we are simplifying adoption through an integrated platform that requires little training, or even you don't really need to have all those technical knowledge, but
Yeah.
we are able to deliver immediate impact. So when we say impact, it could be various areas, from payments up to promotion and market access and other stuff. So as an entrepreneur, there's, no time to lose, from building everything from scratch or even trying to test the market with new solutions.
That's very true. That's very true. I've been seeing that a lot of people have issues understanding how can I add a payment provider and all those things. And I'm glad to know that New XP is helping all these entrepreneurs who don't have a lot of idea about the digital space and giving them all the tools they need to know to complete their app or platform. And Apart from that, Malaysia is often seen as a launchpad into Southeast Asia. What are some unique traits of doing business there, like challenges or advantages maybe the founders or investors should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, Malaysia as a country, we offer, of course, we are comprising of a multi-ethnic, and also we have a multilingual population, strong infrastructure, and of
Yeah.
course, business-friendly policies. But of course, a diverse consumer landscape as well, gives us the necessary experience or exposure to prepare, I mean, businesses for regional expansion. So, I mean, as a country, we have the environment that could also act as a very strategic sandbox. So if your solution can work in Malaysia, so it is likely you will be able to scale, I mean, across ASEAN.
Yeah, sounds good. Are there any regulatory tailwinds or government initiatives in Malaysia supporting SME digitization? Like, if there are, how do you align with or benefits from those?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Malaysia, of course, have also a very supportive ecosystem. We have, I mean, several government programs or initiatives, such as the MDEX, SME digitalization grant, and then, the central bank do have also, provide the necessary support, sandbox, and etc. In terms of supporting fintech innovation. And of course, we do also have the national e-commerce roadmaps as well. All these are basically, reflects a strong policy push as well. So I mean that is where I mean we see that not just in the foreseeable future, but we are also at the same time actively working with the relevant stakeholders here.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's talk more about global expansion and strategic partnerships. You have expanded across multiple regions, Asia, Middle East, Europe. And how did you approach global scaling from Malaysia? And what advice would you give other founders looking to expand beyond their home market?
Yeah, okay. So I would say that expanding to different markets is definitely something that you don't just go to that particular
Yeah.
country and just sell your solution there. So what we do is, I mean, we start by identifying a specific use case, looking at specific opportunities that exist in that particular region or country. So once we have identified, say like a problem statement or something that is definitely has tremendous potential, not just local but also to scale in that region. Then the next thing we look at is whether or not we have a very strong partner locally that would also act as a local enabler. So I mean, this partner could be a financial institution, it could be associations, trade associations, entrepreneur associations, and so on, or even I mean government agencies, semi-government agencies, corporations, or even SMEs themselves, who has a very wide network. So I mean, the reason why this is the main criteria is because we basically rely a lot. I mean, like let's say in terms of the go-to market, we actually work very closely with our partners, to drive and also to provide localized value because we recognize that not one solution doesn't fit all. So of course, in
Yeah.
terms of what my advice is basically don't scale, just by running, digital marketing campaigns, running ads and all that, but more towards scaling through relevance. So I mean, your entry point, and then thereafter you basically build trust through these partnerships.
Yeah, because also if you're in a fintech space, there's a lot of regulatory body involved and everything. So you need to also give them guidance on how they can achieve that. Okay, perfect. So you also mentioned that you have access to cutting edge projects via strategic partners. Could you give us an example of how that's translated into real business impact for NeuXP or your clients?
Yeah, I mean, good question. So I mean, like I mentioned earlier, if we were to go into the market ourselves with the solution, we have to build, I mean, from scratch, which is from the zero or from the first customer itself. So how we basically leverage on partnerships is an example of one of our partnership is basically with a European based foundation in offering an integrated banking solution to their members. So I mean, not just that. I mean, like I would say that the solution has already an existing or ready market when it is deployed. So this not only gives us access, not just to their database, but also pre-qualified users and also access to an already an embedded trusted ecosystem. And what does this mean? So of course, we are looking at a reduction in the customer acquisition cost, because like other fintechs, a lot, like why most of the fintechs are basically not making money. The most common issue here is because they have very high customer acquisition costs. And of course, the other thing is, aside to that, the partnership also allows an instant proof in terms of product market fit. So not just that, I mean, like this kind of partnerships also opens up for other various side use cases as well. Things like integration with the local merchants, and also the introduction of loyalty programs and so on for this particular group. So of course, from this particular group, we can see that it can be expanded, outside as well. I mean, outside this ecosystem as well. So targeting, I mean, customers organically. I mean, that actually gives us a wider coverage.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. All right. So let's, for the entrepreneurs who are watching, let's give them some kind of insights and education in terms of digitization. So many SMEs still hesitate to digitize. From your experience, what's the biggest misconception SMEs have about going digital and how they should rethink it?
Yeah, I would say many SMEs or even entrepreneurs, they always have this belief, that digitization is often expensive, time consuming, and and sometimes they don't really see, I mean, if I'm already doing quite well, so why should I digitize? But actually, the truth here is, it's not about tech. I mean, you can have the best system, I mean, the best platforms or the best tools, but it's not about, having these tools, but it's basically all about solving the day-to-day problems. So of course, what we are looking, among the problems is, we are looking at things like faster payments, or we are looking at how can we actually tap into, a different customer segments in order to widen my outreach, or even potentially increase my revenue streams, or even things like compliance. Of course, there are risks of doing things manually. You tend to make mistakes, or even uh, creating errors that could potentially result in losses. So I would say that once the SMEs are able to see, some of these tangible wins, then we we are able to see there is a shift in the mindset as well, from traditionally thinking all just about cost, but rather it is an investment.
Yeah, but which is very true. Like I've seen a lot of people, like they think that online, doing stuff online, like marketing in terms of having all your products listed online, they think that it's expensive, but they don't understand that the world is shifting towards like being completely digital. The new generation, the new era, which is called the Gen Z, they want everything digitally. So I completely understand what you are trying to solve over here. Apart from that, what industries or SME segments in Malaysia or Southeast Asia are most ripe for digitization and disruption today? Because I know some of the parts are still in a very old school manner in Malaysia. So could you give us some examples on that?
Yeah, of course. So I would say that we break down into different parts. Like whether or not these SMEs are very much B2C or B2B kind of focus. So, but generally, I mean, the types of industry we are looking at is like the F&B, micro merchants, or even education, or even travel providers,
Yeah.
even cross-border service SMEs. Those who are very active, in terms of selling products or services abroad. So these are, I mean, basically these are the SMEs who are fast growing, and also underserved by traditional platforms. So when we say about traditional platforms, because yes, they have several tools that they might use, but that particular tool would only be able to cater to one particular segment. So but it's not, I mean, it doesn't support entirely. So, and of course, we are and not just the traditional platforms. So we are also looking at fast growing SMEs who are also highly responsive to tailored solutions.
Okay, perfect. So let's say if you're advising a startup to looking to serve SMEs in the emerging markets, what's one of the mistakes they should avoid and one strategy that they should double down on?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, let's say in terms of entering any new markets or particularly the emerging ones. So of course, the main strategy I would suggest is to build your distribution
Yeah,
first, because you can have, like I mentioned just now, you can have the best product, but if you do not have customer, then it defeats
yeah,
the purpose. So how, I mean, of course, how do we build this kind of distribution channels, or whichever you call it? I mean, let's say through partnerships, or even being part of the local community, or even be part of an embedded channel or an embedded ecosystem.
yeah.
So and that is where, I mean, you would have a broader exposure, not just to see what would the market perceive your solution. And thereafter, once you have validated that, so then the tech element basically comes in. So of course, what we see here is that the tech would only be useful like if it reaches the right people at the right time.
Okay, that was very well said. Let's move on to some of the financials and growth. And you are raising funds via Eureka and give them the investment use for the potential investors, the use case of where the funds are going to be used. Something which is very interesting is New XP saw a 500% revenue growth in 2023, which is like very impressive. What factors contribute to that leap, and how are you planning to sustain or accelerate that momentum?
Yeah, so I would say that I mean the contribution for the financial performance, it was primarily due to the shift in our business objective. Moving from building the ecosystems for ourselves to being a digital enabler, empowering the SMEs and corporations alike. So what happened is that initially we to go to the market ourselves, and
Yeah,
to try implementing the solutions and to acquire customers from there. But
yeah,
we found that in the early years, like just now, we had very high customer acquisition costs. We had, a very slow momentum, because you are basically trying to build customers, let's say organically, if you are not spending, I mean, like, let's say, putting a very heavy investments into marketing and so on. So I would say that when we actually shift our business objectives by focusing very much on partnerships and joint deployment of the project, so we are able to achieve this kind of momentum. So of course, in order to sustain this, we are doubling down as well on continuous enhancements, because I would say that when you deploy a solution, it doesn't stop there. We see that a lot of new technologies that are emerging, and even I mean, like, let's say, not just new technologies, but new use cases. Because I would say that once the platform is there, it doesn't stays there, for the next, I don't know, 1 year, 3 years, or even 5 years. So because we have to also move in line with the shifts in demand, or even consumer preferences. So, and of course, I mean, we are also continuously focused in driving, I mean, different revenue streams together with our partners, focusing on regional partnerships. Like, even if you have just found that one or two very good partner, I mean, it doesn't stop there, because the
yeah,
market in that particular country, some I mean, it definitely can scale scale to a level that we envision to be. And of course, the other thing would be on terms of the value-based pricing as well. Meaning we actually grow together with our
yeah.
partners or clients.
Yeah, it's like a win-win situation. Let's talk about more about allocation of funds for users who are potentially investing. You're saying that you have allocated 40% of the fund towards marketing and 40% towards research and development. Could you walk us through on how each of these category directly fuels New XP's value creation engine?
Yeah, sure. So I would like I covered earlier. I mean, we don't spend
Yeah,
conventional marketings, or even spending money, I mean, in terms of running advertisements and
yeah,
so on. So when we talk about the allocation towards the marketing spend, so that would be very much focused in terms of our partnership acquisition. So because I mean, just to share, at the same time, we do, I would say that most of our partners, I would say almost all of our partners basically, are basically coming to us on a referral basis. So, and of
yeah,
course, for us, if we were to go more aggressive in terms of the partnership acquisition. So then that is where we believe, in also investing in the respective markets as well, and
Yeah,
to go beyond the referral. And not only that, we are also, looking at things like how do we grow our community, not just at the global level, but also at the regional or at the country level. So the reason why we are looking, things like to expand the use case, and also, connecting with the different partners, because we believe, in not just deploying single solutions, or rather solutions that would operate on a silo basis, because we believe, let's say we have two different solutions that is deployed in that particular region or country. So that would, create, I would say, the added value. So we envision like 1 + 1 = 3, that kind of formula.
yeah,
So and aside to that, of course, the on the marketing side as well, we are looking to expand into the new markets, and also new verticals as well. And to answer your question on the R&D, so yeah, we are constantly innovating as well our solution, because we believe in continuously building to meet the ever-changing demands and expectations.
yeah.
So of course, in addition, customization of solutions that can just serve the different regions would also eventually allow us to reduce the expansion costs. So we have already been adopting that approach as well, like deploying similar solutions in different countries, but sometimes they may come in the form of a different use case. So that is where, the customizations for the local market actually occurs.
Okay, that's very interesting. Perfect. So let's talk more about exit strategy and investor alignment. You have mentioned that a share buyback program and a potential merger and acquisition exit in 5 years. Why do you believe that's the right timeline, and how are you preparing the company for it today?
Yeah, so our goal is, to grow NeuXP into a high impact acquisition ready ecosystem within 5 years. Okay, the reason why is why we have this timing as well, because we believe that the time frame actually allows us, to have a comfortable a timeline in order for the projects that we have deployed in the respective region to deliver, impact or results to the group level. And that also makes us, attractive, not just to regional banks, but also to other fintech players, or tech platforms who are looking for an immediate global access. So meaning, with one, let's say with the participation in NeuXP, so, like now you'll be able to access into all the various locations that we have a presence in. And to let's say, speaking about the buyback option, we have that also on the table, because we believe, in giving early investors a clear path to liquidity as well. To show our commitment to share upside, and also we are ready to implement them, with our strong balance sheet.
Okay, that's amazing. And some investors are looking for shorter liquidity cycles. How do you balance long-term vision with short-term investor expectations?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, this definitely would be in any other investor's mind, because, especially participating in an equity crowdfunding, they do not know whether am
Yeah,
I going to hold the shares, whether for 1 year, 3 years, 10 years, or even 20 years. So that's why, we understand that not all investors have the same, let's say, expectations or horizon. So which is why we have introduced a structured share buyback program as well. Offering early investors a clear, predefined option to exit with decent returns, before, let's say, the full scale M&A, or the IPO event. Through this program, we are basically, looking to provide liquidity, flexibility, without compromising our long term vision. It's also a way for us, to reward people who actually believe in us. At the early stage, while we continue to build a scalable and acquisition ready platform. So in essence, we are basically building long term value, but at the same time, we are also, looking to give short term investors a choice
yeah,
to realize again along the way.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's say fast forward to 5 years from now, what will New XP have accomplished that will make you say we have truly made a difference?
We are looking to be the number one choice for any SMEs looking to expand, trade, or even thrive, across borders. And I mean, without needing to worry, about all the challenges one might face in entering a new markets. So I mean, that is our we have made a difference milestone, and I mean that we have already, successfully doing it in some of the markets. Like I mentioned just now, the clients who are being referred to us because they know that, I mean, the access and also the support that we are able to provide. But at the same time, like I mentioned just now, we are not just, want to limit ourselves, with all these referrals, but rather to cover, I mean, on a broader scale where, you know, the moment people think about digitization and going cross border, they will have NeuXP in mind.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. And finally, for anyone listening from the SME world, whether in Malaysia or globally, what is your call to action? Like, why should they care about what you're building?
Yeah, I would say that it's very important, to remove the mindset, because a lot of, I mean, I've also came across some entrepreneurs, they always think that I need to excel locally first before I
Yeah,
can go abroad. So, I mean, that is a very wrong mindset, because, I would say that a lot, I mean, I've seen many entrepreneurs as well. They have very small presence in their home country, but they really made it big, in other locations, because sometimes, their product may fit well or may not fit well with the local market, but it could be a hit, in different locations.
yeah.
So that is why what I would say, that don't let borders limit your business, and we are basically here to simplify your global journey. Whether, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're just starting out or scaling up. So your ambition deserves a smarter ecosystem, and basically, we have built it for you.
Okay, perfect. That was amazing, Jeremy. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And for the listeners, if you're curious to learn more about New XP's vision and track their life funding round, head over to eureka.com. Thanks a lot, Jeremy.
Yep, thanks.